broadcasts your emotions.
Hello everyone. The aim of this second video is to illustrate the correct installation procedures, but above all to show how simple it is to use the new equipment in the indium line made by Elenos. This is the original packaging that you receive with the equipment. Inside you can find the ETG, the information CD containing the manuals and technical documentation, and any tools needed for the correct installation and operation of the equipment. The packaging has been carefully designed to protect the equipment during transport. It is totally protected by casing so that it can be transported safely and protected from mechanical shocks or any other problems due to transport. After the ETG has been taken out of its packaging, it looks like this. The front panel with its air intake grille, a VNC connector for an RF monitor, a connector for its telemetry, control and operation keys, and an encoder for selecting the parameters on the front panel in order to confirm the list of controls and to choose the pages and display to be consulted. The key, which is very important for switching from local operation to remote operation. I would like to underline the importance of this key, which ensures that once the ETG is connected to a remote telemetry system, either GSM or web-based, it must remain in remote mode, otherwise the equipment cannot be measured remotely. The last detail is the programming button, which can be found on the side of the machine. Following the detailed instructions in the manual, this switch must be operated for reprogramming the machine, if firmware updating is ever required. Having illustrated the front panel of the ETG, now let's take a look at the parts on the rear panel. On the rear panel you can find the power input connector for connecting the electric cable, the cooling fan unit, the RF output connector to which the RF cable is connected for the aerial. The connector changes according to the power capacity of the ETG. And the part relative to the input audio signal, the MPX signal, the stereo signal left and right, AES or EBU for the markets that need it, and a very important thing in the required configurations, a telecontrol and telesignal board where the external interlock key is to be connected during installation.
Attaccare la nostra chiave di interlock esterna in questo modo. Iniziamo adesso la nostra fase di installazione.
Now let's get started on the installation stage. First comes the electrical mains connector, where the three conductors, earth, neutral and phase, need to be connected.
La nostra terra, il nostro neutro, e la nostra fase. Ricordo a tutti.
Remember, the electrical configuration is 200 volts for European connections or American standard.
standard americano.
Next comes the earth connection of the ETG body and the earthing of the station, with the connection of the RF cable for the aerial. Remove the protection and connect the aerial cable to the machine's output connector. Making sure that the contact is good between the connector and the cable, and ensuring that the connector is tight so as to prevent adaptation problems and any return loss when the machine is on. After the aerial cable has been connected, the cables for the audio signal must be connected. This includes the MPX signal connection, the right and left channel connections, and stereo configuration if necessary. This is a standard configuration for the correct installation of the ETGs. After carrying out all the operations listed above, the electrical power is supplied. The configuration of a correct installation is as follows. A green LED means electric power is being supplied. A yellow LED means standby, so the machine is not on air but is supplying power and is ready to receive the on-air command. DPLL lock LED, which means DPLL inside the ETG is coupled to the work frequency set. A blue LED means the ETG is in local configuration, so all the operations can be carried out from the front panel using the encoder. Once the operations and settings are complete, to monitor the ETG remotely, the machine must be set to remote configuration. Once the correct power supply phase has been carried out, the encoder on the front panel can be used to set or change the three fundamental parameters for correct transmission. That is, the working frequency, the output power, hence the target power of the ETGs, and the audio signal level, so as to obtain the correct deviation of the audio signal. As shown on the display, these are the factory settings for the new ETGs made by Elenos. Working frequency 98 MHz, output power, target power, maximum machine value, and attenuator of the audio signal level to 0 decibels. Now let's set the basic operating parameters of the ETG, that is, the output power, working frequency, and level of the audio signal. The encoder is used to choose the parameter to be changed, which in this case is the output power, the target power of the machine. It is confirmed using the enter key on the encoder, and the output power level is changed. In this case, a value of 500 watts has been chosen. After reaching the target, it can be confirmed by pushing the enter key. You can return to the main screen by keeping the encoder pressed for more than 3 seconds. This is valid for every point in the menu. Once on the target power, the audio signal level can be set. Move the audio attenuator on the inside of the ETG in order to obtain the right deviation of the modulating signal. Then, as before, it can be confirmed using the enter key. Now you can move into the negative or the positive field so as to obtain the correct deviation. Regardless of the power capacities, the ETGs are equipped with a graphical bar, and when the audio signal reaches 0, it means that the ETG is deviating more or less 75 kHz.
Questo si vuol dire che il nostro ETG sta deviando più o meno 75 kHz. Una volta terminato l'impostazione del
After setting the audio signal parameter, it can be confirmed using the Enter key.
Enter. Procediamo adesso all'impostazione della frequenza.
Now let's move on to setting the working frequency.
Per impostazioni di fabbrica, i nostri
Due to the factory settings, the ETGs are already set to 98 MHz. So if the transmission frequency is different, press Enter and move the working frequency.
Enter e andiamo a spostare la frequenza di lavoro. In questo caso per esempio andiamo a 108 MHz. Una volta arrivato
In this case, for example, when a frequency of 108 MHz is reached, it is then confirmed using the Enter key. You will have noticed that as the frequency changed, the yellow and PLL LEDs went off. This means that the PLL was reaching the new working frequency. Once the frequency is set and the yellow LED comes back on, it means that the frequency setting was successful and the ETG is ready to be switched on. Once all the electrical and aerial connections have been successfully completed, the output frequency target, the working frequency, and the size of the audio signal have been selected, all you need to do is send the ETG on air. This is a very simple operation. Just press the on key. As you can see, the ETG has already reached the target power very quickly. And if the aerial connections have been carried out correctly, maximum output power and very low reflective power will be obtained. If during startup and going on air the red LED comes on, it means there is a fault, or that the ETG has been installed incorrectly.
Una non corretta installazione del nostro ETG. Rimandiamo alla lista.
Please refer to the list of alarms to find the type of alarm and identify the solution.
Broadcasts your emotions.